for this fight as well. It's a bantamweight fight, which is, like I said, it's much needed to be able to get that division built up again. So it'll be interesting to see how Caitlin ends up looking in the pros and with 3 5-minute rounds. So and Caitlin's coming in a 7-1 record as an amateur. So yeah, she's coming in with a very, very solid, really solid record behind her as well. I think she's got to be the favored one in this fight. Even though Ricker has pro experience, she's currently 1-1 as a pro as well. So the opening fight always tends to be a very interesting fight. It's usually either a very, very huge slugfest, or it winds up being somebody gets a quick win by somehow. But it'll be an interesting fight at all. You have any insight?
No, sadly.
Okay.
I haven't seen, unfortunately, and I feel bad for this, I don't see a lot of amateur fights unless it's here in my hometown through Tough Enough. But given, I'm looking at some of their stats right now, and I'm kind of impressed. I kind of feel bad now I haven't seen their stuff. I can't wait to see what it looks like.
Yeah.
So I think the crowd has to go through what you're saying.
Yeah, for me, I mean, it's just for me doing the grind. It's one of the things that I do that nobody else does, and that's go through results every single week, post those results. But with that in mind, I'm keeping an eye out on people that are really, really good. That really are deserving of some attention. That's why I know Caitlin very well, because I have seen her results, on my results for the past couple years, and to have a 7-1 record as an amateur says a lot.
Yeah, Caitlin, I think the only time I really saw her is I knew she was in that tournament down in Florida, WCFL tournament.
Yeah.
And I saw her advancing through it, but I didn't quite see her fight. But that's the only thing I know about her, is like she was advancing, she was winning, she was doing good. But I was never able to see any of her fights, so I don't know what her style was. And I believe if I don't have an honest opinion, I can't give one. It's not right.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I'm not gonna pull something out of my ass and fuck around.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I understand that as well. I mean, like I said, some of these are really kind of tough to kind of break down. And for me, I mean, it's just a matter of just looking up kind of what the results are and all that as well. So I'm interested to see how that kind of goes down. But I actually did see some of Caitlin's fights on the WCFL tournaments. And the other tournament that was going on, I think it was the 115 tournament, was a really great tournament. Shout out to Kayla Horacho, who had she had freaking one of the fights of the year, amateur fights of the year last year in the tournament. I'm trying to remember her opponent's name, but she ended up, they ended up, just leveling it down, and she ended up losing by a split decision. They ended up actually rematching in the finals because Horacho got back in the tournament. But I want to mention that Kayla's actually out in South Africa right now, shooting a reality show, a fighter reality show. So I believe some of the fights are online, and I'll let you guys know. But there's through the South African organization, which I can't think of off the top of my head, they're doing a reality show similar to what The Ultimate Fighter is down there. So yeah, she got invited to go down there. So and she looked awesome, even in her losses. It wasn't like she was getting her butt kicked. It was a simple thing of just being so freaking close, but she just didn't get the edge that she wanted in terms of the judges. So. But anyway, yeah, I mean, those. I love it when they do these amateur tournaments. I'm hoping that Tough Enough does it again. When I'm down there, yeah. When I'm down there again, I will work with Tough Enough to see if we can't start another one again.
Sure, I might talk to Jeff actually this month. I have to go to Tough Enough. I'm cornering a teammate, not just that, but early next month I'm teaching a self-defense seminar for autistic individuals, and that'll be held at my gym, Syndicate Mixed Martial Arts. So I have to go down there for a double reason.
Well, that's great.
I'm going to make it a triple reason now.
Yeah. Yeah, and when I'm down there as well, I mean, I'll be able to help out as well. I mean, I'll be able to cover it. And the thing is that when I move permanently to Las Vegas, which should be in April by the looks of it, I'm going to be, I'll be covering a lot more events in the area. I know there's a lot of MMA events in the area. And the flights out of Vegas are cheap, so I might be going to Invicta a lot more often, covering other events. I'd love to cover an Outlaw Fay if I can at some point. Just... things are going to start happening later this year, once everything starts rolling. So just watch out for it. I mean, Wombat Sports is going to blow up a lot more, considering I'll be able to travel a little bit more in terms of covering events. So, but anyway, so that wraps up. That's up Invicta. I mean, yeah, it's a very exciting weekend. Couple of side notes that I get to say. One is the fact that if there's no other reason to go see Fighting with Your Family next week. That comes out in theaters, about WWE wrestler Paige and her family. Christy Lopez, if you guys recognize her from Bellator, she's going to be making a cameo, and she's made a cameo in that movie. So you can kind of spot her out. She said that it was during one of the training scenes at the beginning of when they go to the WWE Performance Center. So Christy Lopez, congratulations to her for making her big silver screen debut next week, as well. Trying to think if there's anything else, any other kind of news that's been going on in terms of any fight news, but I still need to kind of dig into to kind of figure out what's going on in terms of that as well. Maybe if I do a podcast next week, I will just get some news out and all that as well, kind of catch up on everything, but. Like I said, I'm just starting to catch up on results. I'm starting to catch up everything like that. I can tell you next week, I should have the pro stats done. Amateurs is going to take a little bit while. It's crazy to think. I think, if I remember correctly, off the top of my head, this last year was the first year where we had less pro fights than we had the year before. I'll have to double check on those numbers, but I'm pretty sure that's accurate. That being said, the amateurs were really, really busy this last year. They rebounded. Hardly we had that little time at which when the it was a couple years when UFC started pulling talent. When they pulled talent into their thing, people started turning pro a lot quicker. So that drained a lot of the amateur talent. Well, it looks like it's rebounding. So I shall have the pro stats done next week. You'll have to give me a little bit of while for the amateurs because it rebounded so much that I still have to catch up on a couple things. So it might have to wait until maybe March that I'll get the amateur results done. But like I said, January was just a hectic day, hectic month personally for me, and I couldn't catch up that information. So I'll try to get that done as quickly and as accurately as possible, just so you guys can get a sense of where the sport's going to be heading coming up in the next couple years as well. I think that is it. Please, guys, go to wombatsports.com. Like I said, my interview with Valerie is actually a written one. You guys can read my interview with Valerie Lorenda, who's going to be fighting Saturday on Bellator, on the website. You guys can check out the podcast with Amanda Bell and Amber Leibrock up on the website as well. If you guys missed it. You'll be able to listen to see what they're kind of expecting and some of the things that have been going on in their lives. They've been doing very, very well in terms of their personal lives, and it's very interesting to get some insight in that as well. And then we'll enjoy Invicta tomorrow night. Definitely, if you're in the Las Vegas area and know somebody that would be very interested in Serena's seminar. Please, if you have Twitter at Serena Southpaw, you guys can check her out there, or on Facebook. Definitely check her out. And anything else you want to promote or add, Serena?
Yeah, guys. I mean, if you guys are going to come to my seminar, that's awesome. You can also show support for the foundation, Piece Together Foundation. If you're going to the Tough Enough Fights this month, you can go to cagetix.com. That's cagetix.com, and you can choose the Piece Together Foundation as you're checking out your tickets if you're going to the fights this month, and they'll get a commission bonus. So you don't have to show up. You don't have to be at the seminar in order to show support. Just come enjoy some fights, Tough Enough always puts on some really good scraps. And, yeah, everybody's benefits.
Yeah, especially, and I should mention that Chelsea Ray, who I interviewed for the podcast as well, you guys can check out her podcast on wombatsports.com as well. She is fighting on that card as well, so you'll be able to catch a couple of female fights on there as well. And Chelsea's been working her butt off in terms of trying to get to this point, and it's really inspirational. If you guys haven't checked out the podcast with her, it's on wombatsports.com as well. With that in mind, we'll be back next week. More than likely, I'll be doing a news one, and it'll talk a little bit about some of the news that has come out. I'll kind of catch up some of the fights that I may have missed, the upcoming fights that I may have missed that I can start mentioning, and kind of where everything kind of fits in terms of the timeline and any news that ends up breaking between now and then. Like I said, wombatsports.com. You guys can check out our news feed at Wombat Sports on Twitter. If you just want to talk to me directly at WMMA News, you guys should check out my tweets out there as well. I tend to retweet a lot more news on that account anyway. You guys can check us out on Facebook, Wombat Sports, and you guys can check us out on Instagram, Wombat Sports. You guys can see some pictures of me when I'm at a location. I believe one of the last ones I was at was actually one of the last 3 photos that should be of me and one of your teammates. Very familiar, the Dr. Evil. So Jojo, yeah. So you guys can check that out as well. With that in mind, again, thanks Serena for joining us and helping us break down this breaks down the news and cards.
Anytime.
And everybody, like I said, check us out on all the social media outlets, wombatsports.com. We'll have more news and results. You guys can check out the results from the weekend. Usually I update them Monday or Tuesday of next week. You guys can follow me on Twitter for any instant updates in terms of results as well. With that in mind, we thank everybody for joining us. We'll talk to you guys next week.